Hi and welcome to another episode of Toby's Barbecue Corner. Today we're making saddle of wild boar in the hay bed with red cabbage and egg noodles. And what you need for it and how to do it, I'm going to show you in this episode. And this is what we need for today. Now obviously we need a saddle or back of a wild boar, and doesn't that look fantastic? Now I personally love game meat, and I think this looks absolutely phenomenal. Now this is from the south of Germany, from the border to Switzerland, where I picked that up while we were there on vacation. Now for the other ingredients, we need salt, pepper, we need some butcher's paper, we obviously need hay, you need some butcher's twine, some red cabbage, some egg noodles, or Spätzle as they're called, and an apple. Now whilst this already looks great, what you want to do is you want to remove any of these tendons, anything that you don't want to eat later on. So take your time, make sure you prep the meat accordingly, because when you actually put it on the barbecue, these tendons will tense up and it will curl up the meat, and obviously you don't want that. So I suggest that you take it off, try to leave as much meat on there as possible, but you will have a much more pleasurable eating experience afterwards if you take your time now. And obviously with game meat, normally there's no antibiotics involved. There's no artificial food offerings that they get and whatnot. So I really like game. I think it's a very healthy alternative, and yeah. So if you do have a chance, either go hunt yourself. Which I can't do because I don't have a hunting license, but if you find a hunter that sells, by all means go right for it. All done. The other side didn't actually need any work. It looked already great, so the hunter had already done a fantastic job. So now what you want to do, because obviously you don't want it sticking to your barbecue for whatever reason, just take a little bit of good olive oil and just brush it on ever so lightly. It won't add to the flavor, but obviously, yeah, you want to make sure that it doesn't stick, just because it's such a delicate piece of meat. And then we're already ready for the barbecue. Now, obviously, you might now ask, what is with the seasoning? Are you going to leave it bland? No, of course not. But for the initial sear, just to get some sear marks on it, we're not going to use salt or pepper. We're going to use that later on when we're actually going to wrap it in the butcher's paper with the hay. The barbecue is at about 220 degrees, and we're now going to put it on for about 45 seconds each side, just to give it a quick sear. And then we're going to take it back off. "45 seconds are up. Let's see if we can give it that branding that we're looking for. And then, as you can tell, if I hadn't removed all this silver skin and the tendons, this would have curled up like a ball. So this is very nice now. Another 45 seconds are up. Let's give it that flip. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look awesome already? Time is up. We'll take it off now. Let it rest for just a few minutes. And then we're going to create an indirect zone. So we're going to turn the center burner off and turn the left and right one to low and create an indirect zone later on for the smoking. Now it's time to season our meat, so we're going to take some mixed colored peppers. Make sure we cover it from all sides, as well as salt, obviously. Give it a quick flip. Now obviously the bottom side will not be as colorful as the top one. I wanted to have the sear marks a bit stronger on one side. Later on, when we eat it, it will make for a nice presentation. But now it will go into the hay, and I'm sure it will be absolutely phenomenal. So what we're going to do is we're going to Move that cutting board. Take out the butcher paper. Take our hay and create a nice little nest. So obviously this is rather a messy thing, and I'm sure my wife will thank me later on, as the kitchen will be rather messy, but I'm sure it will be tasty later on, so she won't mind. So let's take about half of it. Create a little nest, and then we're going to rest the wild boar on it, cover it with even more hay, and then we're going to close it up. Two things, guys, before we wrap it up. First of all, you might have noticed I'm using a larger piece of butcher's paper than before, because I grossly underestimated how much butcher paper I need to properly wrap it. And obviously we're going to use the meter to monitor the temperature inside the meat. Now what we're aiming for is about 60-62 degrees internal, right? So make sure you get into the thickest part of the meat, and then we're going to wrap it up. And now it doesn't matter that it's not particularly tight. Obviously you don't want any, you don't want the heat to be trapped in there, but obviously you want it to be tight enough that it doesn't fall out. And then we're going to use some butcher's paper to make a nice little neat package. Just like that. And then obviously make sure that all the hay that's sticking out you just cut off, because obviously you don't want to have any kind of burning in your barbecue. The barbecue is cooling down to about 140 to 150 degrees, so I'm trying to use one burner, and then once this is on and we know where we sit in terms of internal temperature, we're going to take care of the sides. As intended, the barbecue is sitting at 150 degrees, and I'm actually only using one burner on this side. And now we're going to place the package right on top here, close the lid, and then we'll wait until it reaches 60 degrees. Let's quickly take care of the red cabbage. So all you want to do is you take an apple and you cut it up into little bite-sized chunks. Obviously you remove anything on the inside that you don't want to eat, any kind of like stones and all that other stuff. And then what you want to do is just cut it into little pieces and throw it in with the red cabbage. So about half an apple will do for a small portion. So obviously if you want to have more apples, go ahead, use a whole apple, but I think half of an apple will be absolutely enough. Now the meat is sitting at 52 degrees, so it's time to take care of the egg noodles. So this is just a little bit of boiling water with some sunflower oil and a little bit of salt, and we're going to boil them for about 10 minutes. And then it's time to take care of the red cabbage. So I've put the red cabbage in a little pot. I'm going to put that in the indirect zone and just heat it up. The meat has reached 60 degrees, so we're now going to take it off. We're going to make sure that the sides are ready, and then I'm going to show you the center cut. Alright guys, we're finally ready, so let's open it back up and see how it came out. Now, usually I would do the center cut right through, but obviously my meter is in there and I'd rather not damage that. But it smells fantastic. So let's go meter hunting. But there we have them. Let's remove that quickly. So now, just for show purposes, I'm still going to do it now that I've removed the meter. So I'm gonna give you guys that center cut. And let's see how that came out. But look at this, guys. Doesn't that look amazing? So I'm absolutely happy. And now I'm going to prep a plate for you. Time to plate up, so we're going to start off with the egg noodles, Spätzle as they're called. We're going to move on to the red cabbage that we pimped a little bit with the green apple. And excuse the mess, but that's just how it happens. And then just a nice few slices of the wild boar. Add some more juice from the red cabbage. And we're ready to eat. And I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video about the saddle of the wild boar wrapped in hay with red cabbage and egg noodles. Now first of all, a big shout out to Janine and Felix for providing the hay. So I hope your horse didn't have to suffer too much for not having enough hay, but I really appreciate the help. Now in the future, I think I'm going to try it with fresh hay. There wasn't that much input from the hay because it was dry hay, but nevertheless, I think the cooking method itself absolutely works. The wild boar came out absolutely fantastic, and it was right on point. 60 degrees is absolutely perfect. It rested for a couple of minutes, so it shot up to about 62 degrees, exactly where we wanted to be. So that was absolutely fantastic, and yeah, it was a nice little dinner. Alright guys, if you did enjoy the video, I would appreciate a comment and a thumbs up, and please head over to that subscribe button for more great videos to come, and I hope to see you soon again at Redken Brymaster.